Hello and welcome back to The Wisdom of Loving. As you know, I'm Dr. Natalie Forrest, the country chair for Germany for G100, the Oneness and Wisdom Wing. And G100 is a global movement, as you remember. It is organized, created, and visioned by Dr. Harbin Aurora, who is on a mission for all of us to have, let's say, equal rights and equal access. And therefore, we have 100 chapters. We have chapters in different on different continents, different countries, cities, all of it designed to bring up topics and discuss topics that matter to us. And one of those topics to me is love or loving. And today I have the honor of having the global chair for the Oneness and Wisdom Wing, also known as the Maverick CEO, Jennifer Randive, with me. So first of all, thank you, Jennifer, for making the time.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me.
Absolutely. And we'll just have a brief discussion. I'm going to throw some questions at you and we'll see what happens. The
Okay.
first question is, what do you think of when you hear the term the wisdom of loving?
First and foremost, I love the title. I think it's got so much of power in it. And it is for me, the wisdom of loving is not just having the our personal attributes to what loving is.
Mhm.
It's a very vast, expansive way of looking at it. Loving actually, when you talk about wisdom and loving, what comes to mind immediately is that all of us are really one.
Mhm.
There is no separation whatsoever.
Yeah.
And the ability to transcend the separation and truly care and be compassionate and kind to everyone,
Mm.
to bring out what it is that lies within us that impacts other people in form of caring, in form of compassion, in form of truly embodying what loving is what it is that the wisdom of loving for me actually is.
And I have to just briefly thank you because you helped me come up with the title. Okay, I just want that to be known, okay? Because I was playing with different things, and I love your interpretation or explanation. In the times that we are currently living in, the oneness idea or the loving everybody, the kindness to everybody seems to, I don't know, be missing a little bit. There seems to be a lot of lack of loving. So what can we do? How
I
can we
think,
share this
I mean,
idea?
that is a really loaded question, Natalie.
I know.
Really lovely. But the one thing that I see and I truly believe in actually looking into is like, what if we did not have those inherent and the strong points of views that we carry, where we find fault and blame, and there's shame, and there's degradation, and there's sadness, and there is fighting. It's all coming. The root cause that I have seen in my personal life, and as well as all around that I keep watching, is that we all have to give up those interesting points of views that we've bought into for eons and eons of lifetimes.
Mhm.
And if we can let go of that and be in allowance of everything around us without judgment. The judgment part is when we have to maintain a point of view, then we've got to judge it, then we've got to prove it, then we have to actually make sure that whatever it is that we are thinking is the right way, the perfect way, and there's no other way, which does not allow for us to open up
Mhm.
different ways of choosing how to interact with one another.
Mhm.
Now, that for me is something that is extremely profound. And if we were to truly embrace that, to give up those points of views that usually, quite honestly, really don't belong to us.
Mhm.
We have actually adopted those points of views, and now we are not even aware that we have them till the time something occurs, and then we react.
Yes.
That reaction is coming from a space of judgment. It's not coming from a space of oneness,
Mhm.
ever. So that's something that we may want to look at.
Mhm. Yeah, it's a trained subconscious behavior, right? I remember when I was still living in the US, very often when I would ask people that, why do you think that? The answer would be, because my parents told me, or my grandparents said, which on the one hand is great because we believe them, but on the other hand, it's that inherited kind of belief system.
Exactly, exactly.
Um, a different or related question.
Mm.
If we are to be open to release judgment, how do we start? And let me put a little qualifier in there. As you know, I love talking about self-love. So don't we have to start with us, like accepting ourselves and loving ourselves before we can love others? And how do we do that?
It's almost impossible to love somebody else, Natalie, if we do not love ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So, to be able to love ourselves, honestly, it is about choosing to first honor yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you don't have to be in judgment of you. You do not have to justify that judgment. Neither do you have to prove how right or wrong you are. Okay. Which is something that I believe many people are caught in that trap of wanting to make sure that we only do this and only do that, then we'll be something.
Mm-hmm.
Then we can do that. So
Yep.
it's almost like us putting brakes on ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
literally, to maintain status quo.
Yes.
Okay. So because it's a
Mm-hmm.
comfortable place to be in. It's almost like a comfort zone, right? So to answer your question would be the first thing to actually love yourself would be to look at everything that you're experiencing. Okay. Everything that you've experienced, the good, the bad, the ugly, the miserable, the horrendous, and look at it from a space of you being the creator of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, people might say, but why would I create something like that? But remember one thing, that you are not what it is that you have created or the experience that you're having. And you are the prime creator of something totally different. So if something is not working, I think we get distracted with the fact that, oh my God, I did this, thus I am this.
Yep.
So that's where the problem lies, right? So if we were to just take a couple of steps back and say, oh my God, I created this, but it's not working for me now. I wonder what it will be like to create something different
Mm-hmm.
or to have a different experience. So I keep telling people, you are not your experience.
Mm-hmm.
However, you are the creator of your experience,
Right.
which gives you a lot of power to look at, right? So even if we are bringing in all kinds of thoughts, feelings, and emotions that we picked up
Mm-hmm.
as we've been growing up, also know that you are the creator. You are the facilitator. You are the change maker. Because if you don't choose to step into your own power and potency, then forget about loving. It's not even an equation.
Yes.
You got to shed away all those things of, I am this and I am that, and people are judging me, and know that you are the supreme commander in chief of your life and living. I call us being the CEO of your
Yeah.
life and living, right? The conscious empowerment orchestrators. All of us are. But we've got to awaken to that. We cannot be victimized by what's happening or what we have created as an experience,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if we can look at that, and then only we can come into the fact that, oh, okay, fine, I don't have to be so hard on myself. And when you're not so hard on yourself and not judging yourself, and you're not thinking that you're not good enough,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
is when you can actually have self-care, self-trust, self-awareness, and self-love. It has to start with self-awareness of what it is that you're actually going into for you to even think of coming into loving. I think we have short out so much as like we've got to love somebody else. No,
Right.
no, it doesn't work that way. Fall in love with you,
Yeah, it's
because
like
without
somebody else
you,
makes us complete, right? It's like,
absolutely. So it is like, why are we even wasting our energy and time
mhm,
doing those kind of things? You've got to really stop,
mhm,
listen, ask ourselves questions. The SLA that I keep talking about is to stop, listen, and ask questions of yourself, to become aware, self-aware.
mhm,
And when you're that, then you'll see that you are such an amazing creator of possibilities, and everything that you created that you don't like, you've got the power and the potency to actually change it.
mhm.
And the first thing is self-awareness, and then coming into
Right.
being in love with you. When you are like that for you, you can be that for anyone else without judgment. You see, we've got to stop judging ourselves first, then only can loving come into the equation of looking at everyone as oneness
Mhm.
and actually knowing that they are the way that they are. And we're not there to fix them, but we can carry on being that loving energy to
Mhm.
support them in whatever it is that they are choosing, because
Mhm.
everyone has a choice. This thing of us, what you think is the right way or what I think is the right way, is absolutely antiquated. This way of thinking has got to be eliminated, literally, for us to be in a space of loving everyone from a space of oneness.
Yeah.
And I think what you're doing right now, the wisdom of loving, I think it is absolutely phenomenal. So thank you very much for taking the initiative, really.
Well, we'll have to see how much wisdom we come up with and how much oneness we can create. I almost want to stop here, but I can't help it. I have,
Mm,
since you mentioned, the inherited beliefs and so, I know it, for many people, it sounds easy. We just say, oh yeah, just, eliminate those, just do that. It's not that easy. We know. That's why it's a process
mm,
of loving
mm.
yourself.
Yes.
Um, One example that I like to use, and I know you're a mother too.
Mm,
There are a lot of people who superimpose what they think their child should become. Oh,
mm,
grandma comes in and says, well, she is so good in math, she should be she should be an architect, she should be a performer. And then the kid grows up with, I should be this. And very often they end up in whatever, being an accountant because everybody in the family is an accountant and you're good with numbers. Okay. How do we start there? Because it keeps coming up that grandma comes in, grandpa comes in, the uncle comes in, the teacher says, oh, she's so good in that, she should be. How do we change that? Because that's right there's an identification
I
that the
think
kid
that's
grows up with.
again a very loaded question, to say the least. I love your question. I love your question because these are the things that really need to be addressed. You're so right.
Mhm,
Now, the question over here is our education system or our environment that we are in
mhm,
is predominantly always forced our opinions as elders onto the young ones.
mhm,
The young ones do not know how to be able to navigate those superimposed impressions that we are forcing onto them.
mhm,
The way that I look at it is, and the way that I actually have made it possible in my own household, with Sasha being a special needs child, is asking questions of Sasha.
mhm,
Okay, I asked Sasha, um, so Sasha, what do you think you'd like to do? What do you really enjoy?
mhm,
Even when she was younger, it was always about Sasha, what would you like to do? What's fun for you, Sasha? And it's always a question of what's fun.
mhm.
We've eliminated fun.
Yeah.
Math can be fun. Geography can be fun. History can be fun.
Mhm.
But how are we approaching it with our children?
Yeah.
Okay. So asking questions, because education stems from the Latin, which is ducara, which means to draw out.
Yes.
Okay. The way that we're doing education, trying to shove things into the kid, which is
Mhm,
absolutely ridiculous because you're not allowing the child to really open up to
yeah.
their brilliance
Mhm,
at all.
mhm,
Because we have a point of view, again, a point of view that comes in. that is shoving something into the child. So I think our education system needs to shift and change in that we are able to ask pertinent questions. And we as parents need to be trained to do that because we are
Mm-hmm.
not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is to be able to draw out from your child, irrespective of what, and they may just choose to be accountants or whatever it is
Yes, yeah.
that's going on. But the question over here is, are we willing and ready to be able to draw out from the child what the child truly desires and what the child is inspired to create? Now, always remember that change is constant. Okay, so if we ask you a question, the kid wants to do art, and okay, fine. So can art be developed? I remember actually interviewing somebody a couple of years back, and it
Mm-hmm.
was like she was being forced to be an engineer because everyone was an engineer in her family. And she, of course, became an engineer, but her approach to engineering was totally different.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what she did. She actually became a Lego serious play facilitator.
Oh,
Okay. So now engineering and Lego is building, it's actually
yeah,
building.
yeah.
And she brought in this amazing concept of helping organizations build using Lego serious play.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because of her background in engineering, she knew what building was all about,
Yeah.
yet she brought an element of play, of
Mm-hmm.
enthusiasm, of innovation, of creation to be able to bring it to people
Mm-hmm.
as to how they, and then she would interpret, this is what it is the building is actually looking at. This is what the building is actually saying. This is how you are building yourself, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a very interesting concept to be able to enhance individuals' capacities, abilities, skills, to recognize how creative they were, how innovative they were, and actually to bring in that extra oomph and excitement and play
Yeah.
into the equation, which is
Yes.
such an amazing thing. And I think people should start it off with our kids. Our kids really need this play aspect. In fact, ask the kids to create something. Do
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is and see where it is. And do you think you would like to do this? Would you like drawing? Would you like painting?
Yeah.
Would you like poetry? Would you like to talk? What if you were to stand in front of somebody and tell me what you think about you or what you think about work?
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know, because our children are way more advanced than what we were when we were kids. We've got
Mm-hmm.
to get that too. They're highly aware beings. And one thing that we've got to learn is to learn from our kids because they are the teachers of the future,
Yeah.
not us.
Absolutely.
We've got to learn from them.
And the reason why I asked that is because to me that's also a process of loving, right? The teacher loving what they're doing, loving the creative part, feeling enough self-trust to sometimes say, I don't know, and also loving the kids enough to draw out what
Yes,
their desires are,
exactly.
you know?
And it goes across everything, quite
Yeah.
honestly. For example, we have a misinterpretation of what the word love is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when we were having a discussion, love and loving.
Yeah.
You're talking about love. It's usually how I would love somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would have an expectation that the other person should be the same way or reciprocate in the way that I
Mm-hmm.
have loved them. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I did this. Why are you not doing that, right?
Right.
So there's a judgment involved, that there's expectations involved, and there's
Mm-hmm.
obligation
Yeah.
involved. Okay. Whereas loving, on the other hand, is like acknowledging that the person is going to be the way the person is.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be able to not get consumed by how he is and how you need him to be or her to be, but just love them for who they are and
Mm-hmm.
know that they will not change. And if they do, be surprised because that's going to be cool too. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? It's like good luck. But
Yeah.
again, it's dropping obligations,
Mm-hmm.
expectations, and judgment
Yes.
to truly come into the space of loving another being or loving anything, quite honestly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's no judgment in that at all. no expectations and no obligations whatsoever.
And thereby, if we are able to do that, then we become one because everybody.
There's no separation then, absolutely, Natalie.
Yeah.
No separation. I mean, why are we having conversations even or doing stuff where we are here to stop stuff? We're not, again, just trying to fix things, okay? Trying to be against something.
Yeah.
It's not loving from any standpoint, okay? We are here to be observant, to become aware, and then create pathways that outcreate the status quo. Because that is the space where everyone can grow, literally. And I think we're doing it in our little way.
Yeah, I think so. One step at a time, one foot in front of
Absolutely.
the other.
Exactly. And nothing opens up like, oh, wow, open sesame. No, it's a process, as you said earlier. It's a process of self-awareness, of self-care, of self-love, to be able to distribute that. And you are never triggered if anyone doesn't like you. You know, as a result of the self-care, self-love, and self-recognition, and like, oh my God, I did that. That didn't work for me. And recognizing that you are not the experience, yet you're the creator of it, makes this vast impact that allows you to choose something different. You know? It's not, you don't have to fight. No fighting is required, literally. Because that's not being consciously aware, quite honestly.
Of course not. Of course not. Because then it's still about right and wrong and who's better than the other. It's competition. That's not love. Yeah.
Yeah, you cannot operate from competition.
Never.
The only person that you can truly compete with is yourself. Be better than what you were yesterday, and that will be the name of the game. Literally, play that game with you and have fun doing that too.
Yeah, but have fun with it and love yourself throughout the process.
Absolutely. No, there's no, if you're loving you, there's no judgment of you. They can't, if you're in gratitude for you, you cannot judge you. If you are honoring you, you cannot judge you. There's strange bedfellows, so to speak. They can't coincide at all.
True. Yes, I love it. And I know we could talk about this for a much longer time, but I don't want to right now. Because right now I
You've got
want
to give it snippets and snippets and snippets, tidbits, not the whole shebang.
And I know that you are working on other interesting projects where things of this nature are coming back up, as am I, as are many of our G100 chairs, members, and people all around the world. So thank you so much, Jennifer. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
And yes, we are going to be coming up with some amazing stuff, and let's see how we can shift the needle and the narrative of being super cool.
Be interesting.
With the wisdom of loving.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And for everybody else, just keep watching and keep commenting. And we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.